Peekaboo! Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Fun Friday Ideas with me, Susan Morgan, your speech language pathologist. Today, I want to talk about facial imitation and some fun games that you can play with your kids to get them copying your faces and why that's important for our communication. We're starting around that 6 to 8 months and we're starting to figure out this cause and effect, and if I do this, mom's going to do that, and if I do that, dad's going to do this. We watch what our parents are doing, and provided that our visual system is able to process everything appropriately, we take that into our brain and we see if we can get our muscles to work in the same way. And then by doing that, we see what type of response it gets from our caregiver, which either encourages us to keep doing it or to maybe not do it so much because we didn't like it. It's important as a caregiver that you encourage this back and forth play. It's a conversation that you're having with your baby or with your child. You're going back and forth playing this game. A great way to get it started is, just like I did earlier, peekaboo, peekaboo. Where's Miss Susan? There she is. This fun game that we all do, it's in our nature to do this, and it's because it teaches our kids to pay attention to that face, to wonder where the other person went. Once we start developing that object permanence around, again, the same time period, around this 6 to 8 months, we start to understand that, you know what, mommy's not gone when she's behind the blanket. She is there. But it becomes a game, it becomes a teasing, and again, it's encouraging that facial expression, and it's encouraging eye contact, joint attention, initiating joint attention when your baby starts to also do peekaboo, when your baby starts to go, what happens when I start this game by covering my face? Encourage that. When you see your baby start to cover her face, peekaboo, turn it into that game, turn it into that back and forth conversation. And when I say baby, I might not necessarily be meaning baby as in small baby. Some of our older kids struggle with this. They struggle with the looking at somebody else's face and attending to it, wanting to pay it. What's the motivation behind paying attention to this? Games like peekaboo give us a reason to look at somebody's face. That makes it playful, it makes it rewarding, it makes it motivating, even for some of our older kids who are struggling at this level. It's also fun to go back and forth during peekaboo and maybe make some different faces with it. So, bring up that towel and then see all the different types of faces that you can make as you cover and uncover your face. Or even without the blanket, just get out there and start making some silly faces. See what you can do and what your child's going to do back. Some of our children with autism start to show some difficulties in this area around 6 to 8 months, when this skill should be coming out in most typically developing children. We're noticing that children who are later diagnosed with autism are finding some difficulties here with this. So it's important that we work with all of our kids on this and encourage them to look at our faces, imitate what we're doing. I also found a really fun game for some of our older kids who might be struggling with the nuances of copying faces. The game is called Copy That Face. And I really like it because it has 3 cards, 3 matching cards that are all these silly faces. So we have different silly faces that our kids can make. And it's almost like, think of it as a game of Go Fish. Every child gets 3 cards, and you can play it 2 to 5 players. Every child gets dealt 3 cards, and the goal is to make a match of 3. So you have 3 cards that you're trying to get. But out of your 3 cards, you pick one, and instead of using words like you do in Go Fish, like, do you have a purple fish? Instead of doing that, what you have to do is you have to pick one of these, and you have to try and make that face. All right, so in order to ask for it, and the other partner, the other kid that's playing the game, has to either give the card if they have it, or if they don't have it, they stick their tongue out. That's your way of saying Go Fish. And then you pick up another card from the deck, and there you go. Just like Go Fish, without words, with using facial imitation and trying to make these faces as best as you can. You can also play memory match with it, which I think is really fun. You would just, instead of doing a 3, go through the deck and just make sure that there's a pair of 2 and flip those over, regular memory match where you're matching where you have the cards out and you just try to find the pair using your visual memory skills. Also, another fun way to play the game is to have a bunch of cards spread out and you try to make one of the faces and the other person guesses which face you're making. When you're first getting used to these cards, it might be fun just to have the deck there and go in front of the mirror with your kid and see who can make each face and just have fun with it and see what new ones you can come up with. Another fun thing that this deck made me think of was that you could actually make these yourself. Take funny pictures of all your family members making silly faces, and instead of using these cards for it, use those pictures and try to make Dad's silly grumpy face or Grandma's sweet face. You can go around and use familiar faces, which might be a little bit more rewarding, or maybe the kids love doing these cartoon faces. Either way, you're working on imitating someone else's face, looking at it, recognizing it, and figuring out how to produce that on your face, which is an important skill to have as we're learning to read emotions and as we're learning to figure out how to make sounds. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed both of these activities that I discussed today. Let me know in the comments below if you have Copy That Face or if you're planning on making your own Copy That Face game. All right, guys, until next week, take care. Bye-bye.